Hello, everyone. This is Joe Boston with the Dallas Real Estate Investment Group and the Real Estate for Life podcast. I would like all of you to join us at dallasreig.com, where you'll find that we have plenty of resources for you if you're interested in real estate investing, as well as we have meetings that you can actually participate and network. And then in addition to that, we have a lot of projects that you might want to learn from and then or participate in. So we look forward to meeting you and go ahead to dallasreig.com and register, and you'll get all of our meeting notifications so that you can participate and see what we have going on as far as real estate investing. So today, what I'm going to talk about are 5 tips if you're considering obtaining or acquiring rental properties. So, as most of you know, with the high interest rates and property values, it's a little bit tougher to generate positive cash flow with rental properties. But when you do, you need to protect your interest. And so, what I have before you is my one page, or it's a one page rental application that I've been using for years. And what I highlight here, so this is the number one tip, is this is really easy to get when your clients, potential tenants, are going to be interested in getting your renting your property. So on here, it does have the social security number and the driver's license number and date of birth. Why that's important? So you're hopefully this never happens for you, but the eviction process starts the day you meet them, especially when you get a rental application. So number one is there's really no eviction police. So once you do get a judgment, it might be hard to file or figure out who that person is. So let's say it's John Smith. There's a lot of John Smiths out there, but if you have their social security number and their driver's license number, obviously their driver's license, then you'll be able to identify that particular person and then assign that judgment to that person. I find that a lot of applications don't have the social security number. And so when you do have to file for eviction, they do have a judgment, but then how do you find them? Then that person moves on. So real clearly, what you can state is if they haven't been paying you, is hey, you know what? I have all your information. I do not want to report this, but I will. And so you'll have that information. So make sure that you uh, can get all the pertinent information about each person that's over the age of 18. Okay. So you're required to run an application on those people for their credit history, criminal, rental history, and income. But make sure you're getting all the pertinent information on those individuals because again, if they just pack up and they move out overnight, then you're stuck with all of that uh, to deal with without any information on those people to track them down. So just that's number one. Number two, I would recommend doing a trash deposit. Now, a lot of people don't do that. I've started to implement that because when individuals do leave, say it's a year, 6 months, I mean, it could be 2 years, 5 years, but the longer the tenant stays, obviously, the more they accumulate. Okay. But what'll happen is they'll put the trash or things they want to dispose of on the curb. If it's not bundled appropriately or bagged, guess what? You're stuck paying for that trash haul off. In addition to that, if it's inside your house, you're still responsible for cleaning the property. So what I've done is I've started to implement all those small, it's like just $50 a month additional for the first year so that if they don't move out all of their belongings, I will use that for their trash removal. It has helped me. I mean, recoup some of my costs because invariably, no matter how clean your tenant is, they're still going to have things they want to discard, and not all trash services will take those items. So you want to make sure you cover your costs. Okay. So that's tip number 2 is add a trash deposit. Number 3 is a flooring deposit. So if you've restored your property and let's say you've put new flooring down, that could be carpet, laminate or vinyl. A lot of times what I'll recommend is I'm pet friendly, but when they have pets going in and out, you can just consider your carpet, needing to be replaced once they move out. And in addition to that, there could be scratches and so forth that happen on your flooring. So what do you want to do is also implement. So tip number 3 is implement a flooring deposit so that again they'll get that back. So the mere fact that it's a deposit means that they can recoup that money if it's in the same condition as it is when they obtained it or were renting the property. So that's why you want to make sure you're covering your costs. Now, obviously, you could take off with some wear and tear. That'll help you replenish or replace that carpet or laminate or vinyl when they move out. So that's tip number 3. So don't be afraid. And remember, it's all about momentum. So when they really like your property, they're going to consider those things. They're going to look and see that everything's new. So they'll go ahead and more than likely proceed with it. And just let them know that you're going to give it back to them as long as it's in the condition that they acquired the property. Okay, so number 4 is inspections. So I know a lot of people that do rental properties and they don't stick to their inspection schedule. I highly recommend you do that. Now, you can hire companies to actually go out and do your inspections. I don't know if you're aware of that, but instead of them, doing the placements and then, accepting or obtaining the payments every month, you can hire companies just to do your inspections. Okay. And obviously that cost will you know, go far because if they're doing something, let's say they obtained a dog or an animal and you didn't know it, or there's another person living there. Also, if they're not taking care of your filters or it's really dirty, well, you need to be paying attention to that because a lot of times they'll hire someone that does the outside, but you don't know what's going on the inside. So, again, if you have those other deposits I mentioned to you that you're recouping every month for the first year, that's going to help you, but you still want to make sure that they're taking care of your property. So inspections is huge. Okay. A lot of people won't do it. And then at the end of their lease, when their house is torn up inside. Also, one other tip is I actually provide vinyl blinds. One easy way to make sure that they're taken care of is if you drive by your property and those are all torn up, that's going to be a key indicator that there's some things going on inside you don't like. You can also, if you do buy your blinds, you can also add that as a deposit as well to recoup those blinds. I highly recommend that as well. So, if you're doing other things like that, there's nothing wrong with obtaining a deposit for those items that they're benefiting from and enjoying. Okay. So, number 5 is make paying on time a benefit. Okay. So, let me give you an example. If I expect to get $1,000 a month, and I learned this from a gentleman when I started doing my rental properties, and this is just a recommendation, but it works really well. So if I expect to get $1,000 a month, what I will do is I will write my lease for $1,200 a month. Okay. Now you're going to have to follow me here. So if their rent is due on the 1st, in special provisions on on the lease, I'm gonna put on that lease that if they pay on the 1st, their rent will be $1,000. Any day other than the 1st, it is $1,200. Okay, so what that does is it incentivizes your tenant to make sure they get that payment in on time. Because remember, as landlords, the less touches we have, the more we make, right? So, and as well for the tenant, right? So if they're like clockwork, I mean, you could set it up where it's automatically drafted from their account. But if they don't, you want to definitely make sure whatever your grace period is, um, elevate your rental amount a little bit, and then make sure in special provisions that you put the actual amount you wanted, so that if they do pay on the second, third, fourth, then your rent's $1,200. So it's a deterrent, and also it makes sure that uh, you're on staying on top of your timing when you're receiving rent. Because remember, there's two things that happen: you either manage your tenant or the tenant manages you. So use processes to help you navigate through the management. And that's one of them, because nobody wants to pay more than they have to, but you don't want to do more work than you have to, waiting days to do this, so are days to get your money. Now, I will put a caveat out there. If you're on using or targeting people that are, on housing, and that's kind of your model, you might not be able to do the last one, because it will be set in stone amount you're getting. But if you're just renting to the general population, which I think the majority of people do, then put an incentive in there for your tenant. There's nothing wrong with that. That really encourages you to be able to communicate with them, as well as, there's no discrepancy when they are a day or two late. They'll just add that money every month. So I wanted to share that with you, because in this day and age where, rental amounts and monthly rental amounts are getting higher, it's really putting pressure on landlords to manage their processes. Now, a lot of people do hire property management companies, but if you're starting and you have less than 5, maybe 10, you want to implement some of these processes that I've learned over a long time, because they really help me navigate through the management piece. So again, would love for you all to register at dallasreig.com, and we will be talking about more topics like this. But I wanted to share with you those tips that we use on a daily basis that help me navigate through these challenging times. So if you do want to do rentals, definitely, take into consideration some of these tips I've shown you. So until next time, hopefully we'll see you at Dallas REIG. We will share with you more information in the coming months. And also, just want to highlight, in January, we're going to have a large kickoff that we'd like you to participate on. And we're doing Zoom as well as in person. So you'll be able to participate in both to take the big brunt of networking to you. And also, if you want to come in person, to be able to participate in. So till next time, I'll see you later.